Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am so behind on making a video about Diamond League finals, and I am sorry. I did not mean to be behind. In my defense, they had Diamond League finals on a Wednesday and a Thursday, which I don't want to nitpick, but before I actually get into the results of this meet, I do just want to say I am very pro the growth of track and field. I want this sport to grow, and I feel like having a major championship, well, not a major championship, but like a semi-major championship on a Wednesday and Thursday is just, it's kind of a miss for me because like I would have loved to be able to watch it live. Watching track live is a super special feeling, and you really just don't get the same result when you're scrolling like this on World Athletics trying to watch the race without the title spoiling the result. It's really just not the same. And I would love to be able to watch it live, but just I cannot be watching on a Wednesday and a Thursday, you know what I mean? I get it, but it kind of sucked. And that's why my video is so late. So I do apologize for that. But without further ado, I would actually like to get into the content that occurred here. I want to start with the women's high jump because this was the most major record of this Diamond League final, is the Oceania area record and world lead from Nicole Ollisagers. She jumped 2.04 meters, which is insane. Also, I do just want to say I am so bad at pronouncing things. I promise I look up how to pronounce things beforehand. I am just genuinely terrible at it. I have it sitting in front of me and I will still be terrible at it. I'm so sorry. I genuinely do not mean offense to any of these incredible athletes. I am just a subpar human being and I'm sorry. This was really the talk of the meet for me, and I'm not a huge field event person, so when it was the first thing I saw, I was like, yeah, this is impressive. And watching it, yep, it was impressive. Even more impressive, she beat out Yaroslava Mahuchik for this title. Yaroslava Mahuchik jumped 2.02 meters, obviously still super impressive mark. And out of the six in the final, is that correct? I felt like the final was bigger than that. Oh, so you're just not going to tell me. Thank you, World Athletics website. That's really helpful, actually. Anyways, regardless of how many people were in the final, 4 people in the final jumped 2 meters or over 2 meters, with Ollisagers and Mahuchik jumping 2.04 and 2.02, and Morgan Lake of Great Britain and Yulia Levchenko, also of Ukraine, jumping 2 meters even. Which I think it's important to remember how incredibly rare that was to see even 5 years ago, to see that many women over 2 meters. And now, I mean, this is obviously it's a semi-major event, but it's not like it's the World Championships. Like, we're still, getting ready. Like, we're gonna unleash our full power at Worlds. So to see that many women go over 2, absolutely insane. And I think it is kind of more normal now for sure, but like just thinking about 5 years ago, that would have been like the most insane thing ever. And now it's just like, yeah, that happens, which is absolutely crazy to me. The next race that I did want to touch on is the women's 1500. I'm kind of doing all the women's events first, and then I'm going to do all the men's events. Nelly Chipchir won in a season best for her, which was 3:56.99. It was a very interesting race to watch. I really enjoyed watching this race. I always really enjoy watching 1500s, but this one especially, it was a fun thing to watch. I do enjoy when they have a little bit of kind of pacing action and things. That is something that is kind of more unique about the Diamond League final compared to other like major championships, is you do have that kind of pacer aspect. This is probably the biggest event where you do have pacers, I would argue, because World Championships and Olympics and national championships, obviously you don't. So this is probably the biggest example where you do actually have pacers, and I just think that's really interesting to watch play out. And obviously we had Jessica Hall and Lyndon Hall coming in behind them, which actually reminds me of an embarrassing confession that I have, which is when I first became a track and field fan, and I did not realize for like a solid 4 months that those were two different people, because they're both Australians with very similar last names. It took me a minute to realize that there were two, which is like so embarrassing to admit, but you know, when in a sport like track and field where there's no like super simple way to get into it as a beginner, you make some dumb mistakes when you are a new fan of track and field. It's just part of the inevitable process at this point. And then in 4th and 5th, we had Sinclair Johnson and Heather McLean. I just wanted to talk about this race because honestly, it was a really fun race to watch. And yeah, it was fun, and it was great to see some of the main, probably like top 5 at World Champs kind of favorites go at it. I would definitely wish that there were some more of the talent from the African continent in this race, but what can you ask, because it is so close to World Championships. Even with World Championships being so late this year, it is still really close to them, so what more can you ask? The next race that I want to talk about is the women's 800. This was a really good race, with Audrey Werrell of Switzerland winning it in 1:55.91 for the Swiss national record. Let's just give a round of applause, because I have always seen Audrey Werrell in the middle or the back ends of these kinds of packs at these championships like these, and it was so nice to see her like actually just like, oh my god, like the finish in 800 are always crazy, but this one, it was so awesome to see that this race was something really special. And it's really special too when you see Audrey Werrell with a national record, Georgia Hunter-Bell with the 1:55.96 for the personal best. Also, I was surprised at the gap between them. It was 0.05 of a second. I thought it was more watching it, but it's kind of interesting how sometimes it just looks not as close as it is, and sometimes it looks way closer than it is. And then Agnès Bourgeois from France with the 3rd place, and Shafiq Will Maloney with the 4th for the national record for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think I said that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. I'm, as I said, challenged when it comes to these things. Unfortunately, Addison Wiley finishing in a kind of disappointing 8th place, but the whole field was under 2 minutes, which again is something that would have been a lot crazier 5 or 10 years ago. We are living in the golden age of track and field, people. These times are crazy, and I love seeing Agnès Bourgeois in that 3rd position. All the French athletes, I don't know why, just hold a special place in my heart. I also loved watching, she finished a bit further back, but I always love watching Agathe Guillemot as well. I like watching French athletes, okay? What more can I say? The next race that I want to touch on, by the way, I'm not touching on all these races because we would be here for longer than I have, but I do want to talk about the 100, the return of Julian Alfred. She looked so good. And a 10.76? Oh, honey, it's a dogfight at World Champs. I don't know what's gonna happen. We've got Julian Alfred, we've got Melissa Jefferson Wooden, and it's the 100. So it's not out of the question for other people to just come out of the woodwork. And like this race is going to be insane. Because 10.76, when we relatively haven't heard anything from her all season long, That is a crazy mark. Then we had Teal Clayton with a 10.84, and Marie-Josie Talu-Smith, the queen of 4th and 5th place, with 10.92. She was 3rd here. I say queen of 4th and 5th place because of the Olympics and the World Championships, which always make me sad for those people. There's those athletes, you know, where it's just like they've been so close so many times and they just never get there, and it's just like, ah. But this was a great race. It's gonna be a dogfight at World Championships. Like, I will make a prediction video hopefully when it gets closer. I don't know, because it's cross country season and your girl has no time in the world, but I really do want to make a prediction video. I don't even know what I'm predicting for that race, if we're being honest. I have no clue in hell. And lastly, of course, because I'm a distance girl, I do have to talk about the 3000. And I cannot, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try my very best with this name. Belene. Okay, I'm so sorry. Watching her run this race was incredible. She was just, it's one of those performances where it's just like, again, this 3000, like the 1500, it was fun to watch. And again, with the pacing aspect where you have that pacer there through 2000 meters, it was interesting to see. I just do want to mention the splits for this. The pacer, Alfonso Salome of Portugal, I believe, she brought them through the 1000 in 2:49.96 and the 2000 in 5:49.12, which led us to a winning finishing time of 8:40.56. So it's always interesting to see that play out in kind of like a championship style almost of racing. And then we had Josette Andrews coming through at an 8:40.95, right behind for the 2nd place. And we finished off with I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Amiba. Mbwa. I'm so sorry. Again, I'm so sorry. With an 8:41.06. And Georgia Griffith with another 8:41.36. The Australian distance community, they're popping off, man. Once again, 5 or 10 years ago, why is this video turning into, oh, well, 5 or 10 years ago, this, that, and the other thing? But 5 or 10 years ago, you did not see, like, anyone from Australia. Like, I just think it's amazing to see new countries really have these homegrown talents. I think it's just so incredibly cool to see. Because, like, yes, I love to watch the US dominate, but I also love when countries just really break out and procure something really special and come into the scene really strong. And that's what Australia has done, especially in the women's events, and especially in the women's distance events in the last couple of years. And it's been great to see. I mean, we have had the Aussie legends before them, don't get me wrong, but I've consistently been seeing them do so much and be in so many things, win so many things, medal in so many things for a lot more than we had seen in the past, and it was really cool to watch. So with that being said, I'm going to move on over to the men's events. And the first thing that I do want to talk about, also, I really do apologize if I am mistaking any of these results. I am trying my very, very best. But it's so strange on this site because they have like your exhibition events and things, right? And it's just like they're mixed in a very strange way. So it makes it really hard to actually find the results. And if I'm looking at the wrong results, I can there are times, I swear, you could give me like a fake results list and I would be like, oh yeah, I remember this and that and the other thing. I don't know how, I just will like procure the memory somehow. I think it's like a thing when you watch too many track races, you just like start inventing them or something. But anyways, we'll start off for the men's side with the men's 400 meters, which of course, Ja'Cory Patterson took with the 43.85 for a personal best. Really impressive. I mean, they are all coming in hot to Tokyo, so it does make sense. We had Nidori of Botswana with the 44.4 and Vernon Norwood with 44.45. And he was able to get onto this world's team. Ja'Cory Patterson taking the Diamond League champion spot, allowing Vernon Norwood, who finished 4th in US Championships, to be able to move on and kind of get himself into position to make yet another world team, which I love. It's always such a bittersweet moment for me when veterans get beat out by the new guys on the block, because I do love to root for the new guys and the younger guys, but I also, the veterans, you know, they're tried and true, and like, you just want to root for them. So I think it's really great that we have both the new faces and the experience headed to Tokyo for the men's 400 meters. And Samuel Kanga came through in 4th, Chris Bailey in 5th for that race as well. The other race I want to talk about on the men's side, or one of the other races I want to talk about on the men's side, is the men's 800. I am so curious to see this, again, dogfight. I don't know what's going to happen at Worlds. This Worlds, especially with the way US champs went, with so many upsets, Yard Naguse and Josh Hoey are both now officially not going to Worlds, which is insane. Literally, it's crazy. So it kind of just bursts everything wide open. Like, just because it's giving you, like, it's just weird, you know, because there's these people who are going and you're like, I don't know much about all of them, especially in the men's 800. There are just so many players, so many moving pieces. It depends on, like, the race and all these things. I don't know. I have no actual clue. But this was also interesting because, like I said, we do have the aspect of the pacer. Patrick Siedziewski of Poland, bringing the pack through 400 meters in 49.00, which I assume was probably the exact target, in which case it's really impressive that he got it right on the dot. And that led Emmanuel Wignoni to win with 1:42.57, followed by Max Burgin of the UK and Marco Arup of Canada. And Bryce Hoppel and Josh Hoey finishing in a very disappointing 7th and 8th. But if you're wondering what you would have had to run to hang with this pack, Josh Hoey in 8th ran a 1:44.25. And he was in last place. Yeah, so that's insane. And we could go back to my favorite phrase, 5 or 10 years ago. That never would have happened 5 or 10 years ago. That would be impossible. But anyways, you understand my point. That's crazy. It was a fast race. And the same could probably also be said for the men's 1500, won by Niels Leros. I love rooting for the young guys. However, it does, like, start to get crazy for me when I think about, like, that he's the age where, like, I probably would have, like, went to school with him. Like, if, obviously, I lived in Europe, like, if I lived, whatever. You get my point. Like, when it gets to that, I'm like, that's actually insane. Like, because this guy just ran a national record, 3:29.2. I have been watching Niels Leros over the cross country for quite a while. I am a die-hard fan of Spar European cross country. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I'm obsessed. I love watching literally all of the races. Like, I love them. Makes me so happy. So I have watched him develop as a talent over the country, which obviously he has done incredibly well. But it's amazing to see him just absolutely break out in track and just release hell on this field of very experienced athletes. And again, they had the pacers with Rock Philippe, no, I said that in the wrong order, Philippe Rock and Zan Rudolph, bringing them through in 54.6 for 400, 151.6 for 800, and then they came through the 1200 in 2:49.49. Azzedine Habs was leading at 1200. I look at the splits and it tells me who's leading, so that reminds me to mention it. He's the king of leading around 1200 meters. I swear, I see a bunch of races where he's like leading around that time. I love watching Azzedine Habs. You know my thing, where I watch a lot of French track. What can I say? But that was cool. And can we talk about this pack? Because right behind Niels Leros, we have Chariot, Koech, and Chariot, Timothy, and Renaud Chariot. And Koech. Can you imagine being, I have to look at his exact age, like 20? Yeah, he's 20. Imagine being 20 years old and you're just running in a circle and you have Renaud and Timothy Chariot and Faneuil Kepsugai Koech behind you, chasing you. Like, and imagine you won. Imagine you won. You literally, they didn't catch you. Can you imagine? And, like, this race was pretty close, but, like, he had more than a half-second gap, which is not crazy for 15, I know, but, like, it's insane. It's literally, it's crazy. It's literally, I have no more words. Like, there's nothing. He's 20. Trackflation, man. I mean, I don't know if that's trackflation or just him being an incredible prodigy that I literally cannot wait to see how he develops. Like, Jakob Ingebrigtsen 2.0. I mean, he's not Norwegian, but you know what I mean. The next race that I want to touch on is actually not a race because I want to talk about men's shot put because Joe Kovacs won it with a very, very strong 22.46 showing after not making the world's team. He finished ahead of Peyton Otterdahl and Adrian Paperi of the US to do it. And his post-race where he was like, I just had to do something for me. Like, I had to get this done for myself after not making the world team. I was just like, no, Joe. Because, like, he would have 100% been on my medal watch list if he had made it. And it absolutely broke my heart when he didn't. It was a crazy US champs, what can I say? But I mean, it was nice to watch him get this win, but it was a bittersweet moment, mostly bitter. So I definitely just wanted to touch on that. The final event that I want to talk about was the 110 meter hurdles. And this is another one where there are so many picks going into Tokyo where you could say, yeah, I think this person's gonna win. And I could be like, yeah, totally. Like, that makes so much sense. Like, it's kind of like the men's 800 where it's like, you could pick one of many people and I'd be like, yeah, like, no, I definitely see that. But today, with equaling the meet record with a 12.92, we had Cordell Tinch, followed by Enrique Lopez. Lopez. I am not 100% sure on the pronunciation. Again, I'm sorry. He was behind quite a big gap back to second with a 13:12 in second, but it was his season's best. We had Jamal Britt in third, and then we had Jason Joseph, Freddie Crittenden, and Trey Cunningham. I have developed a certain liking towards Trey Cunningham. I think it would be really, his performance at US Champs, it was, it was what it was. But I just have a very fond memory of watching him run in Grand Slam. And I know about the controversy. I'm probably not going to talk about that just because I don't want to, and I can do whatever I want, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I have grown very fond of watching him race. He just has a great race style. And like, I don't know. Some hurdlers, I'm just like, I like the way you hurdle. I really can't explain it. Honestly, I kind of feel about like that to an extent with most pro hurdlers. Maybe it's me as a 400 hurdler and a steeplechaser. I just like, it's just like I'm in awe of how smooth and quickly and like how high, especially for men's 110 hurdles, like it is. Like, all those things just impress me so much. But certain hurdlers especially, I'm just like, you're actually insane. Although I would like to throw in that I did run the 55 hurdles when I was in 7th grade. They did make me do that. I have video proof, but I'm not going to show it because I have too much self-respect. But anyways, on that note, I will just do a quick record recap for what we saw at the Diamond League final in Zurich. We saw an area record for Oceania from Nicole Lyles in the women's high jump with 2.04 meters. We saw 3 meet records. The 400 hurdles, Karsten Warholm with a very impressive 46.70 showing, and the women's 400 with Salwa Eid Nasser finally getting it done with 48.7. She did it. I actually don't know why I didn't talk about that race. I don't have much else to say other than she did it, though. I mean, other than that, it's kind of self-explanatory, I feel. And the women's 400 meter hurdles with, of course, Femke Bol in a very dominant 52.18. No one is stopping her now, and she will definitely be not a hard pick to make for Tokyo. We also had the equal meet record from Cordell Tinch with a 12.92 in the 110 hurdles. We had 2 world leads, Nicole Auguslagers in the high jump, which we already talked about, and Julian Weber in the javelin with a 91.51, which is just incomprehensible in my opinion. We, of course, had quite a few national records. I will just run through the names and events quickly. Nicole Auguslagers in the women's high jump, Martina Weil in the 400, Morgan Lake in the high jump, Niels Laros in the 1500, Henrietta Jaeger in the 400, Fatima Bita in the 400 hurdles for women. On the 800 women, we had Audrey Wero, Emma Zepitolova for the 400 hurdles, Shafika Maloney in the 800, and Ditaji Kambunji in the 110 hurdles tied her national record. Hopefully that list all made sense, and I hope you enjoyed watching me absolutely butcher some pronunciations. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!